The British had to fight three Carnatic wars with the French to establish their supremacy, which in history is called Carnatic Wars. The Carnatic is a region in South India lying between Eastern Ghats and Coromandel coast. This region constitutes the present-day Tamil Nadu, Eastern Karnataka, Northeastern Kerala, and Southern Andhra Pradesh. The First Carnatic War. The Australian War of Succession and 7 Years' War fought in Europe had their repercussions. The Australia ruler Charles VI died in 1740 and was succeeded by his daughter Maria Theresa. France did not support her succession and joined hands with German-speaking territories of Austria such as Bavaria, Saxony, and Spain. Frederick II, known as the Frederick the Great of Prussia, taking advantage of the emerging political situation, invaded and annexed Silesia, an Austrian province, with the support of France. The wars fought between Britain and France in Europe also led to clashes between these two countries over their colonial possessions in North America and India. When the war broke out, the new governor of Pondicherry, Dupleix, appealed to Morse, the governor of Madras, and to remain neutral, but a British squadron under Commodore Barnett captured some of the French vessels with Indian goods and precipitated the situation. Dupleix, shocked by this incident, appealed to Anwaruddin, the Nawab of Carnatic, to help him avoid the war with the English. Calm prevailed for some time. Meanwhile, Dupleix contacted La Bourdonnais, the French governor of Isle of France, who appeared in the Indian waters with 8 warships. Peyton, who led the English squadron with his 4 ships, intercepted the French squadron, and in the battle on 6th July 1746, Peyton suffered reverses and retreated to Hooghly, Calcutta, expecting some more ships from Britain. Fall of Madras. The French squadron succeeded in capturing the undefended Madras on 15 September 1746. Governor Morse was asked to surrender, but the Madras governor turned to Anwaruddin for help. Dupleix was clever in convincing the Nawab that he was securing Madras from the British to be handed over to him. On 21st September 1746, the English were forced to part with the Madras, but the Nawab of Carnatic asked the French to hand over the Madras to him as promised. The French dodged. Thereafter, the Nawab sent a force of 10,000 men under the command of his son Mahfuz Khan. Nawab's forces blockaded Fort St. George, but the French forces pushed the Nawab's forces to Santom. The French received reinforcement, and Mahfuz Khan attempted to halt the progress of the French on the banks of River Avaya. The French forces were able to wade through the water and inflict a severe attack on the Nawab's forces, and resulting in heavy losses. Dupleix then set his eyes on Fort St. David at Cuddalore, which was in British possession. The English, with the help of the Nawab of Arcot, were trying to regain the places lost, but Dupleix again played a diplomatic game by promising that he could hoist the flag of the Nawab in the Fort St. George for a week, and after that he requested the Nawab to hand over the town to the British. Further, the French offered the Nawab gifts worth Rs 40,000 to make him withdraw his proposed help to the British. Meanwhile, 2 attempts of the British under Rear Admiral Bosco went to take Pondicherry also failed. By this time, in 1748, French and English had signed the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. By this time, in 1748, the French and the English had signed the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. Under this treaty, the British and the French ceased their hostilities in India. It was agreed that the French would hand over Madras to the British in return for Louisburg in North America. The Second Carnatic War in Europe prevailed between the British and the French, but the two colonial powers could not live in peace in India. They played one native ruler against the other. Dupleix wanted to enhance the French influence by invading the wars and succession in both Hyderabad and Arcot. Dupleix supported the claims of Muzaffar Jung, the grandson of Asaf Jah, who died in 1748 in Hyderabad as the Nizam of Hyderabad. In the Carnatic, he supported the claim of Chanda Sahib. A triple alliance was formed amongst the French Nizam and the Nawab of Carnatic. The English, after losing Madras, a precious possession, had only Fort St. David under their control. In order to reduce the influence of the French, the English supported the rival candidates Nasir Jung for the throne of the Nizam of Hyderabad and that of Muhammad Ali after the death of Anwaruddin in the Battle of Ambur in 1749. Muzaffar Jan, the contender of Nizami of Hyderabad and Chanda Sabi, claimant to the Nawab of Convent with the help of the disciplined French infantry, inflicted huge casualties on the Nizam and Anwaruddin's forces. Anwaruddin was killed and Chanda Sabi entered the haircut as the Nawab. Muhammad Ali, son of Anwaruddin, escaped to Trichy. The Battle of Ambur was followed by the entry of victorious forces to Deccan. Nasir Jang was killed by the French army, and Muzaffar Jung was made the Nizam of Hyderabad in December 1750. Dupleix dream of establishing French appeared good funds and time. Dupleix received huge money and territories both from Nizam and the Nawab of Arcot. When Muzaffar Jung required French protection, Dupleix sent Bussy, the French general, with a large French force. Muzaffar Jung did not live long, and the same people who killed Nasir Jung also killed him. Bussy promptly placed Salaba Jung, brother of Nasir Jung, on the throne in order to reduce the influence of British and also with a view to capturing Muhammad Ali, who fled to Trichy after Anwar was claimed. Chanda Sahib decided to take Tiruchirappalli with the help of French and Nizam. Dupleix also determined to take over Tiruchirappalli with the help of Chanda Sahib. Chanda Sahib's troops were joined by 900 Frenchmen. Muhammad Ali had only 5,000 soldiers and not more than 600 Englishmen to help him. Robert Clive's idea changed the course of history. He suggested the idea of storming Arcot when the French and the Nawab were busy concentrating on Tiruchi. Clive moved from Fort St. David on August 9, 1752 with only 200 English and 300 Indian soldiers. As expected, the English received help from many rulers from small territories. The ruler of Mysore and the ruler of Tanjore rallied to support Muhammad Ali. Chanda Sahib dispatched a force of 3,000 under his son Raja Sahib to take Arcot. Clive seized Arcot on August 31st and then successfully withstood a 53-day siege by Chanda Sahib's son. Raja Sahib, who was helped by the French forces in the Battle of Arni. The English and the Maratha ruler Murari Rao faced an unequal number of French and the forces of Nawab of Arcot. In several battles that followed, including one at Kaveri Pakam, Chanda Sahib was captured and executed. Muhammad Ali became the undisputed ruler of Carnatic. In Europe, Britain and France were not involved in any war, and so neither of them approved the policy of their companies sighting in India. The French government recalled Governor Dupleix. The Treaty of Pondicherry was signed in 1755 for the second Anglo Second Carnatic War. With the English, both countries did not interfere in quarrels of the Indian princes. The treaty also defined their mutual territorial possessions in India, a situation that was maintained for nearly 2 centuries until Indian independence. The Third Carnatic War. The Third Carnatic War as an echo of the 7 Years' War, which broke out in Europe in 1756. It was a global conflict and was fought between the two arch rivals, Britain and France. The war was fought in North America and West Africa, which later became the French and West Africa. In India, it manifested itself in the Third Carnatic War. Before turning our attention to the Third Carnatic War, let's see what happened in Bengal. The Battle of Plassey happened. Robert Clive defeated Sirajud-Dowlah, the Nawab, and then Battle of Buxar, 1764. The British defeated the combined army of the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II and Nawab of Fauj Shuja-ud-Dowlah and also Mir Qasim. The battle was fought at Buxar, 1764. The victory of the British led to the signing of the Treaty of Allahabad 1765 by Robert Lee with Shah Alam II. The outbreak of the Seven Years' War captured Chandranagar, the French settlement in Bengal. With this, the French influence ended in Bengal, but they regained their power in the south. The French government sent Count de Lally as the supreme commander of the French forces in India. As the British were active in Bengal, Lally promptly secured Fort St. David after a short siege. Lally's next move was Tanjore, but the French were after money from the Raja, which we could not give. Without a penny, the siege of Tanjore was lifted because there was threat of British attack on Pondicherry.